Now it's time for Spaced Out. This week on Spaced Out, we are revisiting a Disney classic of my youth with Flight of the Navigator. This is the one where a little kid leaves home to play or whatever one night, wakes up the next morning, and it is like 10 years later, because as he comes to realize he had been abducted by a UFO with the voice of Pee Wee Herman. This is a movie I saw a fair amount of times as a kid, hadn't watched it in a long time. I was expecting, some mid-level Disney kids fare out of this. I mean, I remembered the story, and, I remember being swept up in the spaceship parts of it as a kid, and certainly those parts are very cool. The spaceship is well designed, the interior is well designed, Pee-wee is fun, and there's a little Muppety alien thing that the kid gets to hang around with that, is also a fun time. What I hadn't focused on with this movie in the past, and the stuff I found myself connecting with more this time, were two things. One, the time dilation part of the plot is fascinating stuff, and a bigger science fiction idea than you would normally expect out of this sort of a Disney movie. What the heck do I mean by that? The idea being that when you get in a spaceship, if Einstein is to be believed, when you get in a spaceship and that spaceship approaches the speed of light, time for you in the spaceship travels more slowly than it does outside the spaceship. So, even though you might have only been in the spaceship for a couple of days, a couple of hours, the outside world has advanced 10 years. And to see a movie outside of like the original Planet of the Apes use that idea is interesting, especially with what they do with it. That idea that for this kid 10 years have passed. And that's the other thing I found so engrossing about the movie this time, was that emotional drama of a displaced child, both from the point of view of his parents, that that when he finally shows up and they're able to reconnect, that that relief mixed with the terror of your child having been missing for 10 years and they didn't think he'd ever come back and they were worried about happening to him, but also the terror and frustration and the confusion of the kid finding himself through no fault of his own in this place, in a world where his family's life has been chaotic for so long, where nothing is quite the way he remembered it to be, where his little brother is now like 5-6 years older than him. The confusing and frustrating and emotional place that the kid finds himself in is unusually well handled. So I guess what I'm saying is that Flight of the Navigator is a much deeper movie than I had thought it would be, and and I give it a lot of credit for that. Flight of the Navigator, 3.5 stars. And don't forget to visit our website, northmetrotv.com/everymovieever. There, you can watch reviews of every movie we've ever covered here on the show, as well as complete episodes. That's northmetrotv.com/everymovieever.